In this video, I'll show you exactly how to start a US LLC from the Philippines step by step. What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric Hunsaker, and today we'll cover how to choose the right state, register your business, get your EIN, open a US business bank account, stay compliant with US laws, and avoid common mistakes, even if you've never set foot in the States. Let's get started. Why start a US LLC from the Philippines? Now let's kick things off with the big question. Why even bother registering a company in the US if you're living in the Philippines? Well, for starters, the US is one of the easiest countries in the world to start a business. The legal system is well established, the infrastructure is excellent, and this is a big one, you get access to a massive consumer market of over 330 million people. But it's not just about customers. Forming a US LLC also lets you use trusted US payment processors like Stripe, PayPal, and Square. Open a US business bank account, gain more trust and credibility with international clients and investors, tap into the startup and funding ecosystem if you're building something scalable. And for many Filipino entrepreneurs, it also means separating your business from your personal assets and tapping into a simpler tax setup, especially with pass-through taxation offered by LLCs. So in short, there's more opportunity, more protection, and more growth. Step 1, choose your state and business structure. Your first decision is twofold: which state to form your LLC in, and whether an LLC is even the right structure for you. Most international founders go with an LLC. It's simple, flexible, and offers personal liability protection. Unlike a C Corp, you're not taxed twice on profits. Instead, the income passes through to you personally. Now, where should you register? You technically can form your LLC in any state, but the two most popular options for non-residents are Delaware, which is known for its business-friendly legal system and strong investor reputation. If you're building a startup and plan to raise money in the US, then Delaware is a classic choice. The other popular option is Wyoming. There's lower fees, there's minimal reporting requirements, and very strong privacy protections. It's great for solo founders or small businesses that don't need the startup bells and whistles. Now, some also consider Nevada for its tax benefits and privacy, but for most people, Delaware or Wyoming are your best bets. Step 2, pick a business name. Next, you need to name your LLC. And no, it's not as simple as choosing something catchy. You need to make sure that your business name is available in the state you're registering. It isn't already trademark in the US. You can check the US PTO database. You need to make sure it includes the proper designator like LLC or limited liability company. And it has a matching domain name and ideally matching social handles too, but those are less important. Once you find an available name that you love, some states let you reserve it ahead of filing, so no one snags it while you're still getting organized. Step 3, appoint a registered agent. This step trips up a lot of people outside the US. So every LLC in America is legally required to have a registered agent, someone with a physical address in the state where you're forming your business. Their job is to receive legal documents, government notices, and tax letters on your behalf. If you don't have a friend or relative in the US, no problem. You can easily hire a registered agent service online. These companies will handle everything for you and forward important mail digitally. Our two top recommendations are Northwest Registered Agent. They're known for their strong privacy policies and great customer support. They charge $125 per year and include free mail forwarding and annual reminders. Now, if you click the link down in the description, you can go ahead and get started with Northwest. Just click on that link, and from here you can go ahead and select your state. Let's say you decided to go with Wyoming, so we'll go ahead and select that, and then just click on Get Started. From here, you come to the checkout page and just fill out some information and you're set to go. LegalZoom Registered Agent Services. Now, this is a more full-featured option from a trusted name. You'll get alerts, unlimited document storage, compliance reminders, and a US business address. Their plan is $249 per year, and if you want to get started, we've linked it down in the description below. Now, either of these options works well. Just depends on your budget and how much support you want. Step 4, file your articles of organization. Now, this is the official formation step, actually registering your LLC with the state. You'll find a document called the Articles of Organization or Certificate of Formation in some states. This includes your business name, your registered agent's information, your company's mailing address, basic info about how the business is managed, and most states let you file online, and the whole process takes anywhere from a few hours to a few weeks depending on the state. Filing fees range from $50 to $500 depending on the state. Now, Wyoming is on the cheaper end. Delaware is a bit more expensive. Step 5, get an EIN, an employer identification number. Think of the EIN like a social security number for your business. You'll need it to open a U.S. business bank account, file taxes, hire employees, apply for merchant accounts like Stripe and PayPal, and even as a non-resident, you can get an EIN from the IRS. You'll fill out a form called SS4 and submit it by fax or mail. If you don't have a social security number or an ITIN, you'll just need to leave that section blank and indicate that you're a foreign applicant. Some formation services can help you with this if you don't want to do it yourself. Step 6, create an operating agreement. Now, this step is technically optional in most states, but strongly recommended, especially if you have business partners. So an operating agreement is a document that outlines how your LLC runs, who owns it, how profits are split, and what happens if someone leaves the company. Even if you're a solo founder, having one helps prove your LLC is a separate legal entity, which strengthens your liability protection. Plus, many banks and payment processors require it before approving your application. Step 7, open a U.S. business bank account. One of the biggest perks of forming a U.S. LLC is the ability to open a U.S. business bank account, but it can be a little tricky from the Philippines. So here's what you'll need. A copy of your filed articles of organization, your EIN from the IRS, a valid passport, proof of business address or registered agent, sometimes an operating agreement, and some banks require you to show up in person, like Chase or Bank of America. But others, like Mercury or Relay, offer remote account setup for international founders. These are fintech banks and are perfect for online businesses, SaaS companies, and e-commerce sellers. Just make sure to open your account soon after forming your LLC, ideally within 30 days. Step 8, stay compliant with U.S. laws. Okay, so you've formed your LLC, you've got your EIN, and opened your bank account. Great. Now you need to stay compliant. Each state has its own rules, but here are the basics. File an annual report, which is required in most states. Pay your state franchise tax. Delaware and others require this. Maintain a valid registered agent. Keep business records up to date. Renew any licenses or permits. If you forget these things, your LLC can fall out of good standing or even be dissolved. Now, pro tip, many services offer compliance dashboards to help you stay on top of deadlines automatically. Taxes for Filipino founders. This is where it gets a little nuanced, and you'll definitely want to talk to a tax advisor. But here's the gist. As a non-resident with a U.S. LLC, you may only be taxed on U.S. sourced income. Many international LLC owners pay zero federal tax if their income comes from outside the U.S. and they don't have a U.S. trade or business. You may still have to file a Form 5472 each year if you're the sole owner and you don't live in the U.S. Again, this depends on what your business does, where your customers are, and how you get paid, but always consult a professional. How much does it all cost? All right, let's quickly break down the typical costs of forming a U.S. LLC from the Philippines. State filing fees. This can be anywhere from $50 to $500, and it varies by state. Registered agent service. This can be anywhere from $50 to $250 per year. EIN application. It's free if you do it yourself, or some services cost between $75 and $150. Operating agreement. Free template, or $50 to $100 with help. Business bank account, which is free with most fintech options. Annual compliance fees, $50 to $500 per year, depending on the state. So in total, you're looking anywhere from $300 to $800 or more for the first year, depending on the services that you use and how hands-on you want to be. Now, if all this sounds like a lot of paperwork, you're not wrong. That's why many people use a formation service like LegalZoom to streamline the entire process. They'll help you file your LLC in the right state, act as your registered agent if you choose them, get your EIN from the IRS, create your operating agreement, keep you compliant with reminders and storage for key documents. So I'll go ahead and show you exactly how to do this with LegalZoom in a step-by-step. So first things first, click the LegalZoom link down in the description below. Now from here, you just go ahead and click on Start My Business. And from here, you got a couple different options. You can go ahead and click on Start My LLC right here, or you can come down here and click on Learn More to go ahead and look at their different packages. Now, the basic package is very basic, but it's free. You just pay the state filing fees. Pro plan gives you an operating agreement, an EIN, some bookkeeping tools, access to over 150 customizable legal documents, unlimited e-signatures for the first year, and a customizable website hosted by Wix. The premium plan gets you all that, plus you get hands-on guidance from experienced business attorneys. So you can set up 30-minute attorney consultations within your first 30 days. So for this option, I'll just choose the basic formation here, and then you just go ahead and put in the name of your business. So I'll say I'm opening a bookstore. I'll go ahead and click next, and then this is where you go ahead and select your state. So again, there are some states that we talked about that are going to be better for, if you don't live in the US, and one of them is Wyoming, so I'll go ahead and choose that. And then you just enter in your primary contact information. You put in your industry, so for this example, I just put a bookstore, and we'll go ahead and click next, And then here you can go ahead and either click no thanks, or you can select a plan here. So from here, you can go ahead and choose just an operating agreement plus an EIN, or an operating agreement, an EIN, and the forms and e-sign for $199, which is cheaper than the Pro plan at $249. You're just not getting the bookkeeping tools and the website. So for this option, I'll go ahead and select this, and then it's gonna prompt you to see if you want to get started with a business bank account. This option, I'll click no thanks. Standard processing's fine, but if you need it just in a day, you can pay $99 for that. And if you want the founder's kit, which is a nice printed out version of all your documents, you can pay $99 for that as well. I'm gonna skip it and click next. And it's gonna take you to the checkout page here. So you can see the Wyoming fee is $100. The other stuff that we got, like the operating agreement, the EIN, and that stuff is $199 for a total of $299. Now again, if you want to get started with LegalZoom, we got a link for you down in the description below. Starting a US LLC from the Philippines might sound overwhelming at first, but it's totally doable. And for many business owners, it's 100% worth it. With the right structure, a clear game plan, and maybe a little help from a service like LegalZoom, you can unlock global tools, track better clients, and set your business up for long-term success. Now, if you want to get started with setting up your LLC or holding company, you'll find links to do so down in the description below. These are affiliate links, which means we earn a small commission when you use them at no extra cost to you. And these commissions really help support the channel and allow us to continue to create free content just like this. So if you end up using them, we really appreciate it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Here on the LLC channel, we cover everything that you need to know about forming, managing, and scaling your LLC or holding company, plus smart tax strategies and business tips to help you grow. So be sure to subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here in the next video.